Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rizky Apriana. I'm from Information System 32 class. Now I want to tell about a country that is Egypt. Okay, just go ahead. My Egypt. When they heard the name Egypt, everyone immediately remember of the Nile River, the pyramid, and Cairo's Al-Azhar University. Well, that is all uniqueness Egypt. There are about 100 pyramids in the country which have become its own icons for Egypt. Egypt is a special country. There are always interesting things when we talk about this pyramid country. Starting from the pyramid, tourist attraction and education. Egyptian history. The Egyptians built one of the most extraordinary civilizations of ancient times. This civilization lasted for 3,000 years or 3,200 to 340 before Christ. Egypt became one of the earliest places inhabited by humans some 40,000 years ago. At first, there were not that many people in Egypt, but over time, Egypt became denser, so a unified government was needed. For a time, there were two kingdoms called Egypt, Upper Egypt to the south and Lower Egypt to the north. Around 3000 before Christ, the kings of Upper Egypt conquered the kings of Lower Egypt and made Egypt into a single kingdom called Egypt. The leader of this kingdom was a leader called Pharaoh. Pharaoh wielded immense power. The Egyptians considered the Pharaoh to be the god of Horus on earth. The Egyptians began building pyramids as tops for pharaohs. Then in 2200 before Christ, Egypt split into many smaller kingdoms. In 2040 before Christ, the pharaohs succeeded in reuniting Egypt. Finally, around 660 before Christ, the Umayyad troops who invaded Egypt succeeded in conquering this region and making Egypt part of the Islamic Caliphate, replacing Roman rule in Egypt. Egyptian politics. Egypt is the official name of the Arab Republic of Egypt. This country has been in the form of a republic since the 18th of June 1953 and its capital is Cairo. Muhammad Hosni Mubarak has served as president of Egypt for 5 terms since the 14th of October 1981. Power in Egypt is governed by a multi-party semi-presidential system. Theoretical executive power is divided between the president and prime minister, but in practice power is concentrated on the president, who has been elected in election with a single candidate. Egypt also had multi-party parliamentary elections. At the end of February 2005, President Mubarak announced change to the rule of the presidential election, leading to multi-candidate elections. For the first time since 1952, the Egyptian people had the opportunity to elect a leader from a list of various candidates. On the 3rd of June 2014, the Egyptian Election Commission announced the former Egyptian General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was elected president after winning the Egyptian election in May 2014. Egyptian geography. Egypt is a country that is mostly located in northern Africa. Egypt is classified as a developed country in Africa. Egypt is the third largest country in the world with an area of about 1,1,450 square kilometers. Egypt covers the Sinai Peninsula, considered part of Southwest Asia. While most of its territory is located in North Africa, Egypt is bordered by Libya to the west, Sudan to the south of the Gaza Strip, and Israel to the northeast. It is bordered with the waters is through the Mediterranean Sea to the north and the Red Sea to the east. Most of the land is part of the Sahara Desert, which is rarely inhabited. Population condition. Egypt is the most populous Arab country in the world with around 95 million people. Due to its extreme and arid climate, most of the population is concentrated along the narrow Nile Valley and the Nile River Delta. About 99% of the population of Egypt occupies the region of the Nile Basin, especially Alexandria and Cairo, and along the Nile Delta near the Mediterranean Sea and near the Suez Canal. The majority of Egypt's population adheres to Islam, while the rest are Coptic Christians. The Egyptians have a unique character. For people who live in hot areas and rarely rain, it is only natural for them to be temperamental, emotional, angry, and have a high tone of voice. For example, when they fight, they just argued. Their hands and feet were silent, and strangely again after the argument is over as if the argument has never happened. There is silence again, as before. The most interesting thing about Egyptians is their hobby of giving. It seems that the Egyptian people are number one in the world. People who are constantly praying and praying at all times. Their character is temperamental, but there are good values that cover their shortcomings. Ramadan is the time when their side of Prophet Musa comes out, where everyone is competing to give food to people who are fasting. Egyptian economy. Egypt's economy is heavily dependent on agriculture, media, petroleum export, natural gas export, and tourism, and there are also more than 3 million Egyptians working abroad, mainly in Saudi Arabia, the Persian Gulf, and Europe. The completion of the Aswan High Dam in 1970 and the resultant Lake Nasser have produced the all-time referred place of the Nile in the agriculture and ecology of the Egyptian state. A rapidly growing population, limited agricultural land, and all dependence on the Nile continue to strain resources and stress the economy. Livelihoods in Egypt is varied. There are those who work as teachers, traders, employees in office, etc. Egyptian education. Egypt is an amazing source of knowledge. Egypt is also called the city of science. The modern education system began to enter Egypt during the reign of Muhammad Ali Pasha. He was an illiterate man, but he understood the importance of education and science for the progress of a country. They assist him in developing education and science. He founded the Minister of Education. First, he founded a military school, then founded a technical school and medical school, and his teachers were brought in from the West. In addition, he also sent his students to study in Europe to study various kinds of science and technology that developed there. The schools that were later built were a medicine school or pharmacy, a mining school, an agricultural school, and a translation school. Egypt is the country that first established a university, namely Al-Azhar University, the oldest university in the world. Students from Indonesia are interested in Al-Azhar University in Cairo. A number of great figures were born from this university, whether it is scholars, ministers, presidents, weathers, medical experts, and astronomy. Egyptian natural beauty. Egypt is famous for its ancient civilization and some of the greatest ancient monuments in the world, such as the Pyramid of Giza at Giza, the Sphinx Giza, the Red Pyramid, and the Temple of Ramses. The pyramid is an iconic building synonymous with Egypt, one of the most famous in the Pyramid of Giza. As the number one tourist destination in Egypt, the pyramid is reportedly designing changes in governance and facilities. What changes will be made to the Pyramid of Giza? Reporting from Lonely Planet, near the 4,500 years old Giza Pyramid, it plans to open new cafes, restaurants, lounges, and tourism center to make it more tourist friendly. Although this site is easily accessible to tourists, the Pyramid of Giza do not always look like a luxurious place to relax in the middle of the desert. However, with the new lodge ladder, the Pyramid of Giza will look like a pleasant place to relax and refresh after being satisfied with seeing the wonder of the world. In addition, the Grand Egyptian Museum will also open near the pyramid. A group of artifacts are moved from the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir Square and other museums to be placed in a storage laboratory for antiques, and 60,000 artifacts will be on display at the museum. As well as this museum will include treasures that have not been exhibited before. Egyptian archaeologists say that the Grand Egypt Museum is the most important in the global cultural project of the 21st century and will be the largest museum in the world. He said that the interior design and antique display in this museum will attract tourists. For you antiques lovers, you should come to this museum to enjoy a collection of Egyptian antiques that will give you the experience of traveling to various places in the past and increasing knowledge about Egyptian history. There are also several Egyptian natural attractions that are very interesting to visit, which will provide a wonderful experience throughout life. You had better visit Egypt as a vacation spot at the end of the year to enjoy the beauty of the tour, such as sea oasis, then the natural springs in Egypt, now as Cleopatra Bath, and the beautiful Patmos Island, which also has some very soothing natural springs, as well as protected areas that surround the highest mountain in Egypt, Mount Catherine, known as Saint Catherine National Park. And Egypt's most talked about natural attraction is the world-famous Nile River, which is known as the longest river in the world. The Nile River is one of the most iconic natural water sources in the world. Those are some of the conversations of this Egyptian state, a country filled with pomp, luxury, and greatness. Okay, that's all from me, and thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.